series. I'm your host Faraz Darvesh. Today we'll talk about various different topics. First, we'll talk about Trump administration's link with Russia, and there are plenty of allegation on Trump administration. We'll go deep dive to see whether there is any truth behind it. Then we will talk about economic cooperation organization summit that was held in Pakistan last week. But however, Afghanistan boycotted that summit, and we would go deep dive to see what are the reasons why Afghanistan did not attend that summit. In the end, we will talk about PSL in Lahore, the PSL final in Lahore. Yes, there is plenty of talk in Pakistan and all over the region regarding PSL final in Lahore. We all know the security concerns many have about this PSL final in Lahore, and we'll go a deep dive to see whether it makes sense to do a PSL final in Lahore in this in the current crisis, the current the wave of terrorism that Pakistan has been facing. I have with me Cemendtaur. Hasan, thank you very much. Misbah Azam, thank you so much for joining. Misbah, let me start with you. There are plenty of allegation on Trump administration. Tell us what is really happening. Is there any link with this administration has with Russia?
Well, so far it seems that there are something there. Now the question is that is it some
Right.
sort of cover up going on around here, or it is simply the media hype on this issue? First of all, when Mr. Jeff Sessions, he talks about his side, he just tries to explain because it is being said that Mr. Sessions, when he was during the nomination hearings, he was asked by a senator, by the Democrat senator, if he has any kind of link
Right.
with the, any kind of contacts with the Russian government
Right.
functionaries or
Okay.
inside US, and he says no, they don't have it, and he doesn't know anybody has it. However, and later on, Pat Leahy, another senator, he wrote it to him,
Okay.
to Mr. Sessions about it. And he asked him very specifically, but he also,
Right.
the thing he asked was that did he have any kind of conversation
Okay.
regarding election? And he said no. So now Mr. Sessions says that, well, I was not asked specifically. I was just asked, do I have a contacts regarding election? And I say no. However, people say that looking at this sensitive situation, Mr. Sessions should have said, yes, I had contact with
Okay.
them, but
Right.
not regarding that. He could
Right.
say that.
Ali, tell me.
One
Yeah,
more
yeah.
thing. And now there are news that even Jared Kushner had some contacts with the Russian ambassador.
Okay.
And why they had it, we will
Okay.
need to find out.
Ali, what are your views on it?
Yeah. First of all, understand that there is no problem whatsoever with having any contacts with anybody. The only problem we are facing, or which we are trying to dig out, is that if Russia had any influence on the US elections, and that is the main thing, that Russia did something and impacted the results of the
Well,
election.
you mean
So-
through network they.
So
Okay.
for
Right.
that, we would like to have some kind of an intelligence coming out about exactly what happened. Was it
Happened in election.
in election, right?
Okay.
So all this is
Whether
around,
the data was compromised or not. This is what you're asking, right?
Yeah. So I
Because
mean,
allegation, I mean, a lot of people talking about, well, the data was compromised, election were compromised, and there were some Russia played a role to help President Donald Trump win. I mean, these are all allegations.
right.
I mean, there hasn't been any concrete evidence behind it.
Right, and that's it. That is exactly what we would like to see, because there are two ways that people are saying that the state of Russia impacted the elections in the U.S. Number one, they manufactured fake news, which went against Hillary Clinton,
Okay.
and that's how they impacted the
Okay.
people who were going to vote. And
well, this-
secondly, which is more important, is that they actively did something to the electronic machines that were counting the vote. So you put in your vote, and it counts it as whatever you have marked it.
Right.
But if the machine has been hacked, and it is programmed so that every third vote is counted as
Okay.
Republican or whatever. So that is the main thing for which we do not
Which
have
is
an
an
evidence
attack on
yet.
democracy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that is all.
Which would be an attack on democracy, but we don't know whether it happened or not. These are
Right,
just
right,
allegations.
right,
There
yeah.
hasn't been
Yeah.
any concrete
Yeah.
truth to it, concrete evidence behind it. Misbah, do you see this going in a wrong direction? Meaning wrong direction when I say, well, will this become serious?
Well, coming days will. It's a good question rather, because see, right now there is a lot of. If you look at it, whatever is happening overall, I mean, you can see sometime what comes from
Okay.
the Trump administration that has a weight as well.
Right.
So we don't know how much. See, if the intelligence agencies will come out just like in the case of General Flynn, and they came out and they say, yes, this is the conversations we taped and that's what they were talking, then Mr. Sessions will be in a real difficulty. However, so far he recused himself from any kind of inquiry and all that. And now they are finding out that Jared Kushner and General Flynn together met with Russians also. So things could get very negative over coming days.
Now, let me switch gears and let me move to the next topic. There is lots of talks happening regarding Afghanistan and regarding the presence of ISIS in Afghanistan, regarding presence of ISIS in that region, and including in Pakistan. Now, recently we've had the economic summit in Pakistan. Iranian president and very different president of Central Asia and the head of states joined that summit. Afghanistan boycotted it, and there is lots of talk that the reason they boycotted that summit is because after the Lal Shehbaz Qalandar, the 7 blast, and after the wave of terrorism Pakistan faced about two weeks back, all of that wave was triggered from terrorist group taking shelter in Afghan land, right? And the Afghan ambassador to Pakistan was invited by the GHQ, and he was summoned. And so which is not properly complies
Diplomatic, yeah,
complies with the diplomatic norms. Now let me ask you this: what was it really the Afghanistan's resentment that they showed by boycotting that summit, or was it just something?
No, I mean that's what they say, because Pakistan military did bombing inside Afghanistan.
So now the question really becomes: what is going to be the U.S. policy on Afghanistan and Pakistan?
Well, U.S. policy is
Under Trump administration.
Yeah, let's keep U.S. policy aside for a while. I mean, right now Afghanistan and Pakistan, this summit, they were talking about how they do their business through the Central Asia and all that. How we can do their business through Central Asia if Afghanistan is not on board. Having Afghanistan in ECO was very important. And this is the thing that now both Pakistan and Afghanistan should sit together and resolve their issue. It was good opportunity even for Afghanistan to come here to Pakistan and make their complaints. However, I would say the other thing also that by throwing out some shells through the artillery are not going to finish terrorists from there.
You need surgical strikes.
Well, you need...
Then you need Afghan
You
government's
need
cooperation.
Afghan government's cooperation in that. Now Afghan government claims that those areas we don't have any right. But on the other hand, I heard President Ghani talking to Salim Safi, and he was insisting that we already did 7 operations against those terrorists who are sitting in Afghanistan and who were attacking Pakistan. But the question is that if you did 7 attacks, what was the result? And what is the result? I mean, nobody ever heard about it, Maybe they did it, but it was not with full heart. I mean, they just... And there are very hard evidences that, Afghan intelligence do support them, not to... They want to hurt Pakistan, but they want to hurt Pakistan just because they think that Pakistan is hiding their troops in that.
It's very simple. They want to hurt Pakistan. Afghan government's intention is to hurt Pakistan.
No.
Whether they were trying to take revenge or whatever that is.
That's true.
This is the attempt to hurt Pakistan. There is no question about it.
No, but hurt Pakistan. That's what I said. They hurt Pakistan just because of the reason, because
It's a
they
revenge.
claim that Pakistan is hiding those people, and Pakistan government even accepted it.
Okay, no, it is. So, Ali, it's a complex situation. The complaint from Afghan side of the government is that hey, Pakistan is hiding our enemies, which is Afghan Taliban. Pakistan complains to Afghan government that hey, you are hiding our enemies, our terrorists, the terrorists who are opposed to Pakistan, which is TTP, the Mullah Fazlullah group, and we have seen the wave of attacks in Pakistan, the Lahore, then Lal Shehbaz Qalandar Shrine. So how? I mean, the situation is very complex. How do you first of all tell me your views? What is if you really feel that this is the truth? How should this be dealt with? I mean, it is just a matter of two governments sitting across the table from each other and then decide, okay, fine, you give up your enemy, we give you your enemy, you give us your enemy, and solve the problem. But it's not as simple.
No, it is not. And I think that it looks like Pakistan is doing to Afghanistan what India is trying to do with Pakistan, which is basically this thing that the terrorists are coming from there, so we don't want to talk to you, and we want to shut down the border and stuff, although India has not shut the border, but Pakistan has with Afghanistan. And therefore, for the ECO, Afghanistan boycotted it, but in the end, the Afghanistan ambassador in Islamabad did attend the conference, the summit, they did. So, as far as Taliban are concerned, you must understand that these Taliban were made in Pakistani madrasa. They were not made in any Afghan madrasa. They were made here. But
here, you mean Pakistan?
In Pakistan.
In Pakistan.
But now they are a force that are beyond the control of the people who made them, I think. And therefore, it is
who made them?
Pakistan Army and its agencies.
Okay.
So that was a long time
Well,
ago.
that's a long time.
Yeah,
Those are not even Afghan Taliban they made the Mujahideen, which was
No,
back in the 80s.
Mujahideen were there. I mean, if you're talking about the Soviet invasion, the Mujahideen were there.
Okay, so I mean, I think you were talking about you were claiming that Pakistan produced Taliban, which is questionable. It could be argued.
No, it is not questionable, because these Taliban, the people who took over Kabul, later after the Soviets were gone, at like 92, around that time, these people were little children who were raised in all these Afghanistan camps, and they were going to
Let's get to the
and
current
then-
situation.
Yeah. So now other things are happening, in this whole area. And at one time, the Taliban enjoyed the government, and they thought that they had a right to govern Afghanistan, and they were thrown out. A lot of people are thinking that Taliban are the same as the Pashtun,
Okay.
and it's been because the Pashtun are such a big, of such big numbers in Afghanistan that ultimately government would come that would be sympathetic to the Taliban idea. Some people think. But anyway, it's a more complex situation, and it cannot be resolved when two civil governments of the two countries, Pakistan and Afghanistan, do not talk to each other. The same way that the governments of India and Pakistan should talk to each other to resolve things. There's a certain other dynamics happening there. A whole region asking for independence and all that. But at the end, this is how you should approach these problems, not by trying to boycott somebody and all that. So that is not the way.
Ali, what is, Mr. What is your take on this? What you just heard Ali, and he's saying the easiest way is to start the communication process.
Yeah, actually, they have to do that. They have to do something, because see, the thing
They have to
that
do
now
something, but they have to do something different.
because right now
Because they have done lots of things, but they haven't produced or delivered any results.
and they will never deliver. They will just keep on throwing bomb on each other and allegations on each other, and that should be keep going on. But because see, nowadays what is happening, Afghan intelligence started supporting ISIS because they wanted ISIS to reduce the Taliban threat for them. However, these kind of things, the world tried before. Pakistan tried these kind of thing, and they are paying the price for that. and Indian intelligence is supporting them in doing that so that they can just kind of squash the Taliban. But at the other hand, ISIS is growing now. Okay, President Trump.
Now we have Afghan Taliban, or whether you call it Pakistani, those Taliban are not transforming, and their soldiers, those Taliban soldiers, are now going and joining ISIS.
Well, some of them are even in Pakistan also. A lot of people are going and joining ISIS,
Which
also.
is very fearful, which is
That's true.
very concerning.
No, actually, if this way the governments start supporting these actors,
Rogue elements,
these
yeah.
rogue elements,
Right.
even we do the same thing. The United States do the same thing. Like 2012 DIA report says that. Declassified report says that even US wanted to have a quote unquote in eastern Syria that Salafi principality. Yeah, Salafi principality, and they call it a strategic asset. So
These guys are not can't be
this
assets.
attitude will not reduce anything. They will further increase that. Whole world, I mean,
They will add on to the fire.
exactly, they will add on to the fire. I was very thrilled that President Trump will be very clear in taking out the threat of ISIS. But unfortunately, it doesn't seem to me it happening, because right
But
away
his
he
election
started-
in his election campaign, President Trump was very clear that
He
he will
was.
root out ISIS.
Even
He will
now
not.
he says.
He will not pay attention to Assad. He will go after
even
ISIS.
now he says it. Even now he says it. Forget about campaign. Even now he says it. He will go against ISIS and all. However, it doesn't seem that is happening, because he right away start getting tough on Iran. Removing Iran from the fight, when you go to fight against ISIS, and removing Iran doesn't make too much
Well,
sense.
Iran is a natural enemy of ISIS.
Not only that, Irani army is fighting ISIS in Syria.
Not just in Syria, in
Not
Iraq
just
too.
in Syria, in
All
Iraq
in the
too.
entire region.
I don't think in Iraq, but it is more in Syria. The general was.
No, but ISIS is anti-Iran force.
I know that's
ISIS
true.
is an anti-Shia force, which really makes it an anti-Iran force.
Yeah.
Right, and they are sectarian. I mean, ISIS has a sectarian
Yeah.
agenda against Shias and against Iran.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, besides that point, if the ISIS is growing in Afghan-Pakistan region, that's very concerning. That's a big threat.
And on top of it, at one hand, we have virtually no communication with Afghanistan.
I mean, Pakistan has no communication.
Pakistan. Ali is right about it, that that
No.
finally the Afghan ambassador came, but Afghan ambassador just came. That doesn't make
Okay,
any difference.
now ask me,
you know.
tell me this. What is the US policy on dealing ISIS in Pakistan and Afghanistan region?
Well, I think US policy, I hope US policy will not be supporting Taliban to quash ISIS. US policy should be to quash ISIS and Taliban together.
Both.
Both. Because see, Taliban, as long as Afghanistan doesn't have government, there is a large number of people who kind of say that okay, they are fighting against that. But now this is not the situation. Now Afghan people elected their government, and now they are going to
Let the
terrorism.
democratic process prosper.
And be a political party and win the election and come back.
Ali,
About what?
about the same thing what Misbah said. I mean, what should
No,
be the
I'm-
US policy
Yeah.
in countering ISIS?
No, I think that pretty much everything has
Everything
been
is,
settled
I
there.
think you
Yeah,
endorse
so-
whatever he said.
Right, right.
Now, let me begin with you. The PSL final in Lahore. Now, Imran Khan, to many other politicians, including former President Zardari, is speaking against PSL final in Lahore, and they all say that there are security concerns, and you are not really getting anything out of out of taking risk to hold PSL final in Lahore, and then many of the foreign players are not even attending.
Yeah. So what is, first of all, some of our audience may not know, Pakistan Super League. This is
Yes,
what
sir.
Yeah,
PSL
PSL is Pakistan Super League.
Super
yes.
League.
Which is a
And-
cricket.
Which is like a
cricket
the game
world,
of cricket,
game
where-
of cricket.
Yeah. And the thing, this is very unfortunate that even when it is called Pakistan Super League, many of the matches, in fact, were played
All-
outside. All of the matches were, played outside.
Dubai.
So, and it is because of the security concern in Pakistan. So it is a Pakistan Super League, but it is happening outside, and the idea was that the final should take place in Pakistan so that it is rightfully called Pakistan Super League. But what about the foreign players that are part of these teams, different cities, city teams? And as we know, three English players, they already excused themselves from coming because of the security situation. So I am kind of torn between these two scenarios. I want to have some kind of normalcy in the affairs of Pakistan, so that there should be music, there should be games, and there should be all kind of things happening so that people feel normal. But at the same time, I'm concerned about the safety of the not only the players but also the
Right.
people who go to watch them.
Right.
And I think that Imran Khan does have a point that with so much security that you would put to have this kind of game, it is not going to look very good. And if something bad happens, then even
Well,
worse.
the counter is that we can't give up to the terrorist.
No.
Therefore, we need to show some power, and we need to show that yes, we are going to hold the PSL final in Lahore. We will not deviate from our original plan
Yeah.
of having PSL final in Lahore.
Well, the thing is that if you go to Islamabad, there is Islamabad, and then there is a diplomatic enclave. And the diplomatic enclave is a completely different world. So if you can have that kind of security for Lahore, then definitely. But just for the sake of having some kind of game, just to prove that we're not going to be, intimidated by these Taliban, that does not make sense. This is not, this is not real. The main thing is this: that if we can improve the security situation in the country by taking a lot of, action
Right.
that we have been
Misbah,
avoiding.
Misbah, what is your take on
You see,
this?
first of all, Imran Khan had two statements. On 22nd of February, he said they should be happening inside Pakistan, this final game. 27th February, when it is announced, he said it is like a crazy idea, So I don't.
So it has been
I don't even
politicized.
consider
This has been
politicized.
politicized. Okay.
Now, Mr. Zardari, he has this thing. He's also playing politics. He wants to put the government under pressure, and then he even said that he doesn't even know, he doesn't even like cricket, and so on and so forth. So I would not even worried about what Imran Khan or Zardaris are saying. That they are just saying it just to embarrass government. That's all. That's all I see. Imran Khan changed in 5 days his statement. Okay. Now the announcement was done before, and assume if it was not officially announced, but the idea was there that it is going to be happening there in Lahore. Now think about it. If this wave, this 2-3 bomb blast wouldn't happen, then what would happen? We would go and play there, right? I mean, there is no issue. Now, just because of the blast,
Okay.
if you stop it, then you are telling the terrorist, okay, now you are deciding what we are going to do. I think this should be
Yeah,
happening
okay.
there. They should be happening there.
You're leaving the decision in
Yeah,
the hands of
okay.
the
Now
terrorists.
question is that okay, you put so much artificial
Okay.
security, so be it. I mean, the thing is that I am not going to change my way of life. After 9/11, there is a game happened, and in this game, lot of big people go, ex-presidents
Okay.
go, everybody
They
go.
all
and
went,
watch.
okay.
Just because of that reason, they do that. After Boston Marathon blast, they
Everybody
do it.
went.
Everybody
Ali,
went
what do you have to
so
say?
That's how
You heard
nation has to do
Misbah.
it.
No, that the parallels cannot be drawn between 9/11 and this latest wave of terrorist activities that took place in Pakistan. Because Pakistan is not a normally very safe country. We saw how
Okay.
easy it was for somebody to go at Charing Cross and blow themselves up.
See-
So it can happen again at these games. Yes, this is great pride to be decided and should be, but the ground reality is completely different. Pakistan is a very weak country in which a lot of bad things can happen.
Well, but
and
they
it
have
would,
to
it would
show some strength against the terrorists.
Yeah,
right?
so then
okay,
then
then
you
show
cannot do
show
anything.
show
And
that
second
strength
thing-
in the right direction.
Yeah, and after
You know?
9/11, nobody
No, what do you
knew
mean show
what
the
is
strength in
going
the
to
right
happen
direction?
that
They
day.
are showing the strength in the right direction.
Yeah.
They
No,
have
no, not by having these sports.
They are not changing their way of life.
Yeah, so I mean
No,
that is
so
not
it
going
means
on.
it means
Well,
that
actually,
you,
no,
you
sorry,
plan,
I differ.
you
Sorry,
plan.
I take it back. They have changed their way of life. We have, the tanks standing outside the hotel, so the way of life has changed.
Way of life has changed. I mean, and this is artificial security.
But there is no compromise
But the thing is that
on our previously planned
if
PSL.
you don't
right?
do
Okay.
it, if you don't do it now, because on TV, a lot of people
Okay.
say, "Why don't you do next year?" Next year, same thing. Whenever
Okay.
you do something,
Right.
something will happen,
Okay,
and we
Ms.
say,
Ba-
"Okay, we cannot do that."
Okay,
I
Ms.
don't think it's
Ba-
a good idea.
Ms. Ba-
We
Ms.
should bite the bullet and move on.
and hold the PSL final in Lahore.
Yes, I
Yeah,
fully
Okay.
support. that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think both of you given their opinion. Misbah, thank you so much. Ali, thank you so much. Audience, continue to watch Viewpoint from overseas. You could see our email, you could see our Twitter, you could see our Facebook. Do send us your feedback. We'll try to improve our show. Keep watching Viewpoint from overseas.